Hey guys, welcome back to PunkRockRadar. Recording our first podcast in the month of December in the year of our Lord 2022. Now, we're not getting too ready for the holidays here. We're not wearing our fancy sweaters for nothing. We're actually going to go two-tone today. We're going to be skanking our way across the boat, and we're going to be hitting that lake and reeling in one big fish. So let's get together and rank all of Real Big Fish's studio albums, and let's pick it up, John.
What's up, everybody? Welcome back to another episode of Punk Rock Radar. Like Lewis so eloquently said, we are doing Real Big Fish today. We're going to talk about each album in chronological order, rank them S through D, S being the best, D being the worst. And before I forget, we're going to do one S tier album and two in every other tier. And I'm joined by my oldest friend, Lewis. How you doing this morning?
Feeling pretty good. It's a little early, but, it's gray and murky, but I'm excited to be talking about Real Big Fish, one of my favorite ska bands. So I'm stoked. Let's do it.
And also joined by my newest friend, Karina from rockfreaks.net and dyingscene.com. Karina, good afternoon.
Good morning to you.
All right. So you guys ready to hit the Real Big Fish here? And I texted both of you guys several times. I was having a lot of trouble with this list. I kind of hit that wall that you would hit, like if you're watching like a SpongeBob SquarePants marathon where your sanity just escapes you. And unfortunately for me, like I hit that wall pretty early on. Had to take a breather of a couple of days and get back into this list. And I'm finally feeling good about this. I had like 6 records all in the same tier. I had my top 2 and that's it. But let's get straight into this now. We're going to go classic album here, Everything Sucks from 1995. And Lewis, I'm going to let you talk us through this first one here. How do you feel about Everything Sucks?
If I get drunk, well, I'll pass out on the floor now, baby.
All right, so Everything Sucks. I think, obviously, like you said, very iconic album for Real Big Fish. I'm not going to rank it very highly here just because most of these songs in this album ended up appearing on other albums and they were recorded better. So in my opinion, this one falls into the C category pretty officially for me, kind of a mid-tier album, like in hindsight with all the other albums that came out. So that's kind of how I feel, but that's not to say that I don't love most of the songs on this album. And I think it has the best cover art of all of the albums. So that's I will begrudgingly give it a C to start my list.
All right, Karina, what about you?
Actually, it's on my C as well. As Lewis so kindly took, did you go through my document on my computer and just like take everything I said? Most of the songs do like appear throughout their catalog, but this was kind of like a demo album, and it's good. It's like groundbreaking before they get good.
Yeah, I'm going a little bit higher than you guys here. I'm going to go B. And the reason for me is, like you said, better versions of the songs are available. But I think for me, like this is the album that sounds the most like the ska that I listen to. Like a lot of the later stuff is really, really polished. And this one has like a little bit of that independent raw sound. So I kind of like the way this one sounds, even if it's a little abrasive after a while. So I'm going to go B on this one. And Karina, I'm going to let you take us into the next one. Major label debut, I believe. Definitely the most best-selling album they have. What are you going to do with Turn the Radio Off?
Sell out with me, oh yeah. Sell out with me tonight.
Oh, I love that one. I do. I probably as many. That was the first album you heard by Real Big Fish, and sure, it was like the first major label one. But I did enjoy. I felt it was a bit dirty. If you get what I mean, it was a bit dirty album. So I'm actually putting it up on my A tier.
Nice. Lewis, what about you?
This is also an A for me. This is a timeless record. I don't know how dirty it is. I want to find out more about that descriptor, but it was a little blue maybe when I was a kid. Because this album, came out, 96, right?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So I got 11 years old. It's so weird. But it is a great record. I think there's not a lot of filler on here. And obviously a lot of these songs became standards for all of their performances. I think I saw them like 4 years ago, and I think they played about half this album. So for sure, an A, still an album I listened to, but just not cracking that elite tier for me, which is going to come on a later album.
Yeah, I'm with you guys. I already put it up there. This is an A for me. I didn't wanna all have the same, but it is what it is. Not my favorite Real Big Fish album. We're gonna get to that pretty shortly, but overall big jump in production value. Lots of better versions of the first songs, and yeah, it's got to be one of the most like iconic third wave ska albums. So easy A tier for me, but I'll take us into the next one because it's going to be in my S tier record here. We have Why Do They Rock So Hard, released in 1998.
She used to be my girl, but now she's famous now.
And I'm putting this in S for a couple reasons. The first one being, I feel like this album, the songs, all kind of have their own identity. And the other thing, I feel like this is the album they kind of introduced like a little bit more of that 80s glam rock flavor. Like you can hear the guitar playing in some of like the subtle transitions, and She's Famous Now. But other songs I really like on here, like I Want Your Girlfriend to Be My Girlfriend, I think is the first Real Big Fish song I ever heard. And then of course Somebody Hates Me, another classic one. So yeah, this is my S. Karina, what about you? What are you doing with Why Do They Rock So Hard?
Oh, it's my A. It's a personal favorite. I don't really, as you mentioned, they go into their the glam rock thing, but they also like maintain their ska roots. And I think that's one of the good ones. And plus the guitar riffs. Come on. That's fucking good.
It's killer. Yeah. And Lewis, yeah. I know you have fond memories of this one. Where are you putting it?
This is This is my S as well. This is the first Real Big Fish album that like I own the full album, besides like, picking up the scraps or listening on samplers or whatever else way we heard it at the time in like the late 90s. So like all the points you mentioned, this album's incredible, I think, from start to finish. Somebody Hates Me is not my favorite opener ever. I kind of like Brand New Song would have been a better opener, is my personal feeling, I'll be honest. But standouts we didn't talk about. I think like The Setup is a great song. I love Thank You for, what is it? Thanks for Not Moshing. I always forget what the name is. In the Pit, as the demo is called, is a great one. And then We Care is a low-key banger as well. So this whole album is great, and I can still listen to this one from start to finish. So for sure, S tier.
All right, right on. We're all like pretty much on the same page up to this point. I think now, like, for most people, consider those first three albums like kind of like the heyday. But Karina, you don't have an S yet, so I'm definitely curious where you're going with that. And I'm also curious if it's going to be this next one, because I feel like this is a polarizing one. I personally like it, but Karina, what are you doing with Cheer Up?
You know we got a good thing going, and I don't want to.
It's actually my S.
There we go. All right.
They have they have some really good songs on it, and like Where Have You Been and What a Friend's For, Somebody Loved Me, and then like my favorite, which is Rock and Roll Is Bitching.
Yeah.
I do feel like they get in some pop punk, like a little bit of pop punk sound, and I think that's what drew me. Plus, I think this was I used to work in a record store, so this was actually my first album that I bought for my own wages.
Ever?
So this.
Wow.
Yeah, no, like for my own wages, like from money I earned, not that I wanted, not that I wished for.
Awesome. All right, Lewis, what are you doing with Cheer Up?
Yeah, it's an A for me for all the songs that mentioned, but no one's mentioned Band the Tube Top yet. I mean, that is. I actually like that song. I still don't understand what it's about. I mean, that's a lot of things with Real Big Fish. I have no idea what any of their songs are about, even the ones that seem like they're straightforward. Like, and they talk about it on the live record. They talk about the setup on the previous album. They're like, "What the hell is this song about?" Which is how I feel after listening to a lot of their songs. I will say, Where Have You Been's a pretty good song, but I agree, maybe you'd agree on the live album. The live recording of that is like incredible, compared to this one. But this is a very good album, I think, for the reasons mentioned. It's pretty strong. I think it was a suitable follow-up to Why Do They Rock So Hard, just not quite as good for me. So,
all right, interesting. When we first did the list, I was thinking that I would possibly be the highest on this one because I'm putting in an A also because I was reading like a lot of what the band was saying around the time this came out, and they kind of like just put this out like as an obligation to the record label, and the next one was kind of like their personal renaissance. At least that's how I read it. I could be wrong. And like overall, like on Reddit and stuff I was reading, people are like lukewarm on this, but it's the one I personally listen to most now. Like in 2022, I find myself putting this one on quite a bit. I was looking, and for some reason, Good Thing is the only song I have on my playlist, which is weird because I mean it's a good song, but it's probably the most generic on there. But I like it. I like mostly all the songs on here. It's the most pop punk sounding album I think they have, which is right up my alley. But let's go into this next one here, which is this is kind of the point where I really started to struggle with the catalog. This is when I put up a story like on Instagram, hey guys, like what is the song from We're Not Happy that people like? And I got like 4 or 5 different answers, which usually is good, but I didn't really care for any of the songs people threw out there at me. But for me, when I go back and listen to this, it's really just the Social D cover. It's almost like as a novelty factor. There's just not a lot here that I like listening to. So this is my first D tier album, We're Not Happy Till You're Not Happy, from 2005. And Lewis, I'll pass it to you. How do you feel about this one?
We hate it when our friends become successful.
I hate this album too. So I mean, not to think about, like, I don't really like any of the songs, to be honest. Like, I think like maybe Talk About a Revolution's like passable. Like, there's a couple like okay songs that I would listen to, and I think The Story of My Life cover's pretty embarrassing, to be honest. Like, I don't think it's good at all. But compared to like the Boss DJ cover on the previous one, because you know, John, I know your favorite band is Sublime, so I know you were definitely stoked to hear that one. But, Boss DJ is a Sublime song that I love, and I love the acoustic version of that. And I thought Real Big Fish did a nice cover on that, and then this one just made a good song worse. So if you do a cover and you make a good song worse, it's a failure, right? So this album, like, what is it? The album with Everything on Fire, like that's where the CD belongs. Like, it's not that good. This is my D tier. This is my least favorite Real Big Fish album for sure.
All right, Karina, we got 2 Ds from us. What are you doing with it?
Oh, it was like when we started talking, I just went like, this is my D. As Lewis says, and I have to agree, I hate this album with a passion. It's just so bland. And I was like, what were you doing? Were you bored? Like, did you forget how to make music? What's the excuse for this one?
Well, John, you told that anecdote about reading about that. I wonder if this is the album they were talking about.
No, it was Cheer Up. They wrote like a lot of those songs are like have like a commercial appeal to them, like because that's what the label wanted, but they weren't happy making it. And then this is We're Not Happy Till You're Not Happy. And this is the one where they kind of made the record that they wanted to. Like, I don't know if it's kind of like, an FU to the label, because what song on here would be a single? Like
it's an FU to the fans, right? So like, it's
that's what.
Like, I don't know if I don't know if the title is like just supposed to be accurate. Like, we want to make our fans unhappy, so listen to 14 songs of this shit, and then and just be upset. So I don't know. Yeah, it's interesting. Sorry, Karina, if you had anything else to say, I didn't mean to cut you off.
No, I'm agreeing like completely. This is a slap in the face to anybody who likes Real Big Fish, and anybody who likes this album should actually get some, like, look inside themselves and ask themselves, am I like a hardcore fan? And I forced myself to like this, because sometimes you do it. Like, if you're a major fan, they're bad as shit. You'll just be like, oh, I love it, and try and push it down the throats to like overcompensate for feeling guilty that you don't like it, but you're saying you're liking it.
Yeah. It's weird, like 2005, you had Less Than Jake put out In With the Out Crowd, which was, again, like a lot of people didn't like it, but I felt like In With the Out Crowd had some charm to it. Some
It's way
good,
better than this.
yeah, some good pop punk tracks. But yeah, this one, total dud, D across the board. We'll move on. We spent the most time with the worst album, but that's usually how it goes. So
Yes, yeah.
let's move on here. Karina, I'll let you take us into this beautiful album art. You know, a lot of time spent there too. Monkeys for Nothing and the Chimps for Free from 2007. What are you doing with this one?
Oh, think twice, cause it's another day for you and me in paradise.
Oh, please don't hate me. It's actually my second D. It's only passable because Cannibal is on it. And that's a good song, but it's just the album's safe. Like everything about it is just safe. There's no like risks. There's nothing, and it's like basically just re-recordings. It's just it felt rushed. Like a lot of the album's production just felt rushed. Like they were forced to put out this album. So yeah.
Yeah, Lewis, what about you? Monkeys for Nothing.
So this one was. So this one I went back and forth because like I don't want to give two things. It's a C for me. So I don't really like this album, but it is definitely a market improvement from the previous one, and I had way less fond memories of it. Thinking about it, and then I listened to it, and I'm like, okay, and I agree with everything you said. Like it's pretty safe, but it's like inoffensive mostly, and you could listen to it as background music, you know. So for me, it's a C, like unimpressive, but at least it's not as big of a letdown as the previous record. So that's where I'm at.
Yeah. So guys, I'm gonna be honest here. I don't know that I listened to this album more than once, like before we decided to do this list, and I had known that both of you guys were not crazy about it. So I started it, and on the first song, I heard the Brain Stew riff in the background on there. So like I was like, oh, that's kind of cool. Like Party Down was a decent opener. Then another FU song, it's all right. And then I thought Live Your Dream was decent. So I was like, oh, maybe I'm gonna have like a nice alternative take here. But like after track 3, it was just like skip. Like there was nothing else for me to listen to. And I was like, oh, maybe this will be my sleeper B. But it's going to end up being my D. After all that, it was 3 songs and then it fell off a cliff. So like I want it to be nice, but I'm not going to waste my niceness on something I don't care about. So I actually was looking forward to this one, guys. And we discussed this beforehand. We were like, why is this here? Why are we doing a cover album? The answer is still unknown, guys, but we are doing it anyway. And I'll kick us off with this one because, Lewis, you know this. I'm a huge John Cougar fan, so I gave them points right off the bat for Authority Song. And I don't know, like after listening to all those albums consecutively, like hearing a cover album was kind of like a nice breakup for me. So I'm going to move this into my C tier. I think most of these covers are pretty decent. I think Real Big Fish does some great covers and some terrible covers, and I felt like this was more on the great side, not great, but on the great side. So yeah, I'm going C. Lewis, what are you doing with Fame, Fortune, and Fornication from 2009?
And I say when I fight authority always wins.
Yeah, I mean, so I like this album probably better than Monkeys for Nothing and than the other one that we just trashed for 10 minutes. Now the name is escaping me. What is it called? We're Not Happy. So, but I'm going to give this one a D. I mean, and it's mostly just along the lines of I subscribe to Matt's opinion that if it's a cover album, I'm going to rank it pretty low unless it's incredible. And I think this one kind of misses the mark. And I will say that Real Big Fish does tons of great covers, and not a lot of these ones. Like I would have picked a bunch of their other ones that I've heard be on this album that I've seen them do live and stuff like that. So this one's okay. Make a little joke about Mellencamp, but I like Authority Song. But this one's a D for me just because it's just not as good as I would hope it to be. So.
All right, Karina, your D tier is full, so I know you're at least gonna be on par with me. What are you doing with Fame, Fortune, Fornication?
Oh, it's a C, but that's because I have a Weakness for their version of Brown Eyed Girl.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think that's probably it's so good. And Authority song as well. I think but as Lewis said, they do a lot of good covers, but I would have made an album with a lot of their different covers. Like Take That is missing.
So
Oh, not Take That. Take On Me. That was so
Yeah.
brilliant. That's the best cover I've ever heard.
it's hard for me to judge the Brown Eyed Girl cover because I think Lagwagon knocked it out of the park too. Like,
Nah.
no, you take this one over it.
Uh-huh.
All right.
Yeah, I actually do.
They're both good. They're both good.
Yeah.
But Karina, I'm gonna let you walk us right into the next one we've got here. A little bit, depending on who you talk to, a little bit of a renaissance here. We've got Candy Coated Fury. What are your feelings on this one?
Live my life, but everyone else is an asshole.
It's full of bangers. Right. It's original. I mean, this and the next album are probably the ones that have more original songs. Like there's, if I recall, Candy Coated has 0 re-recordings. Isn't that correct, Lewis?
I don't think there's. Yeah, I
No.
think these are all new besides the one cover at the end. So
Yeah. But yeah, this is like, is it a B? I think it's my B.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
That's all I had to say about that one.
All right, Lewis, what about you?
Yeah, so I think you probably put one of mine in the wrong spot, John, because I think I had turned the radio off in A as well. So
Oh yeah.
Whoop.
in my ranking, yeah. So this one is going to go in my B category as well. I agree. It is a Renaissance record. It's listenable. It's fun. It is a little bit safe, but then they kind of have good stuff in here. And speaking of like doing a really good cover, The Promise is a way better cover than any of the other covers on the other album, right? So I think personally it's a really good cover. So yeah, this one's a solid B and definitely an upswing for the band.
Yeah, I definitely messed up. Wait. All right. We're back on track here, guys. Rough cut. We all had turn the radio off in A, but I put them all in B. So I think now I have this correctly. So I'm going to agree with Lewis and Karina, and I'm going to put Candy Coated Fury in the B tier. And I mentioned this before that I posted about what songs were good after Cheer Up, and almost every single recommendation I got was from this album. So because of that, I spent the most time with it. It is really good. It's definitely not on the level of my top 3. Which if I'm looking at this correctly, and if I listen to you guys, it's still early. I've only had 1 cup of coffee. That we all have the same SA3 albums there. So I think we're good. So I'm gonna agree with you guys and put this one in B. And Lewis, I'm gonna let you wrap us up here and talk about Life Sucks, Let's Dance from 2018. Feelings on that one.
Life sucks, so let's dance. Life sucks, so let's dance.
I mean, it's a perfectly serviceable record. When it came out, I listened to it. I thought it was okay. I listened to it again in advance of this, and I still agree that it's pretty good. So by the process of elimination, I think I have to put it in the B category, just because it's slightly better than the other ones. I think that probably misrepresents how much I like it, but it's a pretty good record. I think I like Candy Coated Fury better, but this one is still pretty good. So that's where I'm at on this one to wrap it up.
All right, Karina, what about you? Last one.
I agree. I think it's slightly better, but I do think I was reading about this one, and the lead singer, he was talking about he got married before they made this record, so that's why it has so many sappy love songs on it. And I'm like, that's actually a nice change. But on the first listen, I didn't like it, and then when we were doing this one, I actually went back to it and I misjudged it because You Can't Have All of Me and Life Sucks, Let's Dance and Pissed Off. And Bob Marley's Toe and Ska Show, they're actually really good numbers. Yeah.
Yeah, I really like the first song, and I really like Ska Show too. That would be my favorite one from the album.
Yeah.
So I ended up in C. I moved Candy Coated above this, like pretty last minute. But guys, we have one more album. It's a little bit of a surprise, but how could we not do Happy Scala when that's what the name of this whole series we're doing here? Karina, I know you have thoughts on this, so I'll let you get yours in while Lewis gets time to think about it, since it's a complete surprise for him. But Karina, what are you doing with Happy Scala?
I'm about to burst out singing because every time somebody mentions this album, it's always my brain automatically goes into toddler mode and just starts singing Grandma Got Run Over by a Reindeer. I love this song. I love this album. It's actually one of my favorite Christmas albums. And I don't listen to anything else but like, Bad Religion's Christmas albums and this. But on the 24th, when we have Christmas here, that album's played all day. And it's only heard like once a month, once a year. So it's my favorite. Best Christmas album ever. It's my yes.
All right, Lewis. Any thoughts on this one?
Yeah, I've listened to it. It's okay. I like it. I don't like it as much as Bad Religion's Christmas album. That's my favorite punk rock Christmas album. It's probably in the same category as like Oi to the World for me, which is, whatever. That one has Gwen Stefani on it, right? On Oi to the World, and that is a connection to Real Big Fish. So yeah, it's good. Not going to be listening to it all day Christmas, but I don't know, John. What do you think?
I'm gonna put it in S tier just because.
Oh, I have to give it a ranking. Okay, I'll give it. Yeah. I guess I'll give it an A. I guess I don't know.
There we go. I was putting in S just because it's the only place I had a little spot there. But the Grandma Got Run Over by a Reindeer is the standout here. So there we go. We went through the entire list without mentioning Gwen Stefani, which I
did it at the end. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Oh, you did mention it?
Yeah.
I just said it. Like 2 seconds ago.
I'm out of it. I'm sorry. But I have my little bingo squares here mentioning Gwen Stefani was there.
I think she's on Oi to the World, I'm pretty sure, on the Vandals album. So that's why
she is.
It. Yeah, so I thought I was remembering. Hopefully I wasn't wrong. But we didn't mention it when we talked about We're Not Happy, which we should have, though, because that's the only funny lyric in that song, in that album. It's like, we're not happy when our friends succeed, especially if they're no doubt. Like, that is genuinely funny lyric to put in a major label record,
And she's famous now too, right?
Yeah,
that's about him. Well, we talked, but you are right though, John. We went like a full hour without mentioning her. That shit is bananas.
We didn't mention her until the bonus section, so I'll count it. I'll keep it on my bingo card as open. So that's it. These are our lists here. This is the first episode of Scala Days. I don't know. This might be the only episode of Scala Days, just so you guys know. We haven't wrapped anything else up yet, but we do have a couple more episodes planned. I don't know what they are, so I won't mention them. But Karina, overall, how do you think your list shook out?
I'm proud of it. I am. Yeah.
Looks good. And Lewis?
Yeah, yeah.
Oh, I feel pretty good about mine. I'm going to clarify. I did mental gymnastics in my head. So the Vandals recorded Oi to the World and then No Doubt covered it. They weren't involved in the original version of the song. I had to check because something felt wrong. So there's my mental connection that I just wanted to sneak in the references to Gwen Stefani. So if you guys know what's going on with her, that's good. So, but yeah, I feel good about my list and definitely feel solid about my S tiers here. And I will listen to Why Do They Rock So Hard for the rest of my life, probably. It's a good album.
All right, guys, there we go. We're going to wrap up here. Thank you so much for watching. Like, subscribe, all that stuff. Leave a comment if you hate it, if you love it, or whatever. Thanks again to Lewis and Karina for joining me. And Karina, what do you have coming up over there on Rock Freaks and Dying Scene? Any reviews coming out we could look forward to?
Oh, the Slackers. I'm reviewing them right now, and I think I'm actually, after we spoke yesterday, I I might have started doing a NoFX review.
Oh,
I don't know
yes.
for who yet, but yeah, we have that one to look forward to. Hopefully next weekend.
Preliminary.
Hopefully it's
Yeah, like
hopefully it's better than the record. Your review.
you know.
well, preliminary thoughts for me on that one so far is I think it's leaps and bounds better than single album. I don't know if that's not a high bar though. Like we said,
Yeah.
the bar is very, very low. But overall, I'm not hating double album so far. It's dare I say decent, but Karina, I'll look out for that review. I'll put all your links down below. That's it, guys. I'm gonna wrap up here. So thanks for watching. We'll see you next time.